friends, Deidre here from Enjoy Wellness Movement for our HIP series of the day. I learned this from Eric Schiffman, one of my favorite teachers, and I love it. I use some variation of it really regularly. Go ahead and come onto your back. Put your right foot on the floor, extend your left leg up. Your leg will extend to different heights. So for some people, when I say extend the leg up, it's going to be somewhere here. Other people might be somewhere here. A lot of people might strive for their furthest distance, but right now, this lifts the sacrum up. So right now, I want you to take your leg, push your leg down into the floor, and if it's way out there, then just push your butt down into the floor. You'll feel like a little bit more of a lower lumbar curve come in. Then just hug, like marry your front to your back body. Just hug down, just enough to take that curve out a little bit. And then lift your leg to its highest extent while your sacrum is down. So you can imagine that I'm just on the top of your foot, just nudging it down. Not forcing it, just nudging it down, encouraging it down. And feel that position. So that's just as high as your leg's going to go with your sacrum down on the ground. And then go ahead and lift your sacrum up, so peel it up off the ground, and then you'll realize that your leg will be able to come higher, so you'll be able to see it come towards the top of your head a little bit more. So that's a position. Just pause and feel that. Notice the position that you have your foot in. Okay, you can change that to change everything about the way this feels. So try spreading your toes. Try pushing through the ball of your foot. Try pulling your toes back to your shins. Woo, that wakes things up. Try pointing your toe. You could twist your foot. You could roll through the ankle. You could wiggle your toes. Or you could have a totally neutral foot. But you know it's neutral. So we call that conscious neutral foot. So you can make any of those customizations anytime you want, just to check in further. So there's sacrum down position. Roll the sacrum up. There's that position. Now let's push off on your foot that's on the ground, hips lift, and then the leg may or may not come up higher there, and you can feel that position. See what happens if you come up onto the ball of the foot, and if you need to scooch that leg closer to do it, do it. Heel lifts on the foot that's on the ground, and then push off even more, and then that leg might come up a little higher. Just feel that position. This one has a little bit more challenge to it. So if it's too much, if your breathing shifts, you're holding your breath, you're forcing an agenda, back it off, it's no big deal. Okay. From here, go ahead and lower down on purpose. So feel how you lower down to the floor, really nice. Walk your right toes away from you, or whatever foot you have on the ground. Put the toes towards the shins, and then push, drive out through the heel, but I want you to feel this the whole way through. Feel not only the push of your right leg, but feel how it connects maybe through the pelvic floor even to your left leg that's in the air. Just feel that action. Pause and breathe. Really nice. Take your right foot back on the floor. Put your left foot on the floor. Just move your hips a little bit, just a little bit of a rock. Let's go to the other side. Right leg extends up. So this is the sacrum down position. Really push it down and feel that. There's a lot in that nuance of pushing your femur bone down deeper to the back of your sacrum. So feel that. Choose, customize the position of your foot. Peel the sacrum up. Feel that action. If you want to be supporting on the leg, you sure can, but resist the tendency to pull the leg to a place that you can't own. What I mean by that is if I were to let go of my leg here, it's pretty tough to hold it here. There would probably be a little spring back. So you just want to only come to a position that you can own that flexibility. Otherwise, it's just a useless range of motion. So you want to develop ranges of motion that you're strong in. That means you own them, you can hold them there on your own. Okay, so then from here, go ahead and come up higher onto the ball of your left foot. Lift the pelvis up, feel that. How do you want your foot to be? Is there anything you just want to check out there, just out of curiosity? Curiosity is the name of this game. So get curious about your foot. Often people will go into a kind of a funny foot splay, and so it might be helpful to think about pushing through the ball mound of the big toe. See what happens if you align your ankle. Then lower down on purpose. Feel how your back comes down onto the earth. Ground into whatever it is you're grounded into. Walk the left leg out a little bit, toes towards the shin, and then feel this push, literally push. So my heel's pushing down into the floor and pushing away at the same time. I want to feel the whole journey of that action, the whole thing. Ah, that feels so good to feel that connection. Good, just breathe and hold for a moment. Feel free to customize anything about this. Customize your shoulders, soften your jaw, customize your breath. Really be here for what's happening in your body right now. Good, slide the left leg onto the floor, bend the right leg, foot on the floor, widen the feet out, toes towards the shins, just a nice, easy windshield wiper. Nice and easy. So feel your knees rocking. Feel how your legs play into your pelvis. So feel the connection of legs into pelvis. Feel how your pelvis is rocking itself. So if you think about the pelvis as a bowl of water, you'd be sloshing your water off one way and then sloshing your water off the other way. And then feel that connection of the pelvis and the sacrum's in the middle of those two innominate bones of the pelvis. So feel your sacrum, that's where your tailbone attaches to. It's the lowest part of your spine. And notice when it rocks to the side, what happens to your low back. So start feeling deeper into your low back. Feel free to just close your eyes. If you want to change your arm positions in any different way, change your arm positions. Start noticing how your sacrum plays into your low back, how your low back plays into your middle back, your thoracic spine. So moving from lumbar to middle spine, thoracic spine. If you want to make any spontaneous adjustments to feet, go ahead and do it. Just feel everything in your body. Notice how your middle back, your mid-spine, plays into your neck. So sometimes what happens with people, especially if they've had any traumatic injury in their neck, the spine will move and then the head will just remain really stuck. So if that's happening with you, just get really curious about it. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Just go, oh wow, that's interesting. Is my head afraid to move? And if you just invite a softening in, just invite a softening. You're not trying to force any agendas, but invite a softening to your neck. And see if maybe there's a natural way that it wants to turn in relationship to your legs. Just see what happens. There's nothing that is supposed to happen. Okay, what happens, happens. Just observe it, watch it, get interested. So feel your whole spine and the spinal movement connect here. And come back to center. If you need to wiggle yourself around in any different way, go ahead and let that happen. I'm going to shift so you can see my legs a little bit differently in this position. Okay, back to left leg on the floor, right leg extends up. Feel that action. Lift the hips up. Feel that action. Lower the hips down. Notice that. Bend your right leg, bring your knees like close to the side of the body. So this can be like half happy baby, but before we go to that exact position of changing the angle of the knee, just hug your knee in towards your chest. For now, let's go ahead and hold on. Let's interlace fingers and really hug the knee in. So squeeze in tight, 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 tight little ball. And then on your inhale, just soften and let it go. And squeeze in again, really squeeze in. You're getting your thighs close to your ribs and your chest as you can. And soften. Let's do that with a few more breaths. Exhale, pull in tight, squeeze. Inhale, soften. Exhale, pull in tight, squeeze. Inhale, soften. Take notice of what's happening with your feet. What are they doing? What are you choosing to do with them? One more time, squeeze in tight. Soften. Take this angle of the knee to around 90 degrees or so. Just start bringing the foot up towards the ceiling. If this is all you can do right here, then you might just grab at the hamstring. Okay, maybe you have longer yoga pants or even short yoga pants. You could hold on to your yoga pants if you need to. Okay, if you can, reach up to the foot, or you can bend the leg until you can reach up to the foot. And then from this position, just bring your right knee, bend your elbow to do this, bring your right knee down to the floor. It may not touch the floor at all, and that's okay. It doesn't have to. So if you had a roller around or a bolster or a pillow or something, I'm just going to grab a pillow because it's easy. There's one right here. So you don't need fancy yoga equipment to do any of this stuff. So maybe you just support yourself to wherever your leg will come. So don't force. No big deal. For me, that gets in my way, so I'm going to release it. Use props. If they support you, if they get in your way, get rid of them. That's my big fancy rule about props. So knees down here. Now feel what it feels like to bring your left knee to your chest. I'm going to customize my toes. It feels good to spread them right now. Stretch it to the ceiling. And we're going to do this bicycle movement. So I want you to really just pay attention to when you extend the leg down. And your leg might be bent a little bit more. That's okay too. Just feel where for these little hover points or these places of interest. So there's certain places where my leg will stop, and then my body's like a spring-loaded unit here. So you want to kind of find that spring point, that hover point, you could call it. And just note what happens here between the front leg to the front of the hip, through the groin, through the hamstring, and wherever else you feel that. That might radiate up. It might be more of a descending sensation that you feel. Customize your hand. Do you want it down? That might be uncomfortable for your shoulders, so maybe you want to try rolling your palm up. You might need it in a different position. Okay, so you're playing with all this stuff. Oh, something just let go and relax so that now my heel is able to come to the floor, whereas before it wasn't. So I'm interested in that. And then bring the knee into the chest. You don't have to put your left butt on the floor. Mine's not on the floor here right now. It's hovering up because I'm focusing on my right knee being down. Down to its down point, whatever that means. Okay. Things change. Expect your body to be changing moment to moment. Just feel in, get interested. Let's check something else out. Let's extend the left leg out. Find a pretty good point where you start to feel some built-in tension start to happen. Feel your fascial body trying to hold you back to center. It doesn't want you to pull it apart. And then from here, flex the foot back for a moment and hug all the tissues to the bone on this extended leg. And then go into external rotation, which means your left toes turn out to the left. And then internal rotation. Oh, that gets kind of interesting. And then external rotation and internal rotation, and play around with movement out on external rotation. My knee's going to lift off a little bit there. That's okay. I'm going to let it. And then internal rotation, the knee wants to come back down here because I just feel like I want to bring the leg all the way over. Doesn't mean that you do, but I want you to start going into more of a free form. What feels just right for you. Maybe you want to just keep this knee off the floor the whole time. Maybe that's more interesting to you. Maybe right now you want to hug the leg in or do something different. Okay, let yourself explore. But we're just going into external and internal rotation, really swimming through that leg with curiosity. Okay, so that's curious. When I get to this point, my knee really wants to bend here. So I'm curious about that. I'm going to go back in again. So I'm going to go down further where I can keep that leg long and strong. Go back to that point that's a little bit different angle. Okay, now that I'm really focusing in, I'm able to keep the leg long. So that just might have been a lack of concentration on my part. It's just really interesting. And that's what you're looking for too. Where does your body want to deviate? What are really, you're watching your body with, what are my patterns? What feels foreign? What feels just right? And then once you've come to the top of your range of motion here, meaning top of your angle of the leg, whatever that is for you, just come right back down. And there might be a lot. This might be an exaggerated internal external rotation, or this might be really tiny for you. It might be barely visible. So just work through it, feel what it feels like. And then just bring it back to whatever placement feels right for you. This is, for a lot of people, will be a lot to have an extended leg. So maybe you just bend the knee and put the foot on the floor. A lot easier position for some people's bodies. So feel that. Take your left sacrum is off the floor if your right knee is down, likely. Some people won't be. But let's put our left sacrum down, which means the right knee will probably come back up. Extend that leg out, shake it out. In fact, let's bring both knees into the chest for a moment. Rock right to left. Take your hands right on top of your knees. Fingertips point down towards the feet, down towards the toes. Circle the legs around. So this placement should put you right on your sacrum into the floor. Go both directions. Feel what feels different from right to left, side to side, front to back. Yay for a second side. Woohoo! Right leg down. Left leg up. Hips lift. Oh, yeah. Just yawn into it. Oh, nice big stretch. Feel what wants to happen in your body there. Slowly lower down. Feel the lowering down. Pause. Bend the knee, hug the knee to the chest. Squeeze it in tight. And soften it and let it go. So you might choose to have your right knee bent here, foot on the floor. Or you might extend the leg long. Maybe you want to have it kind of kicked out. You might need some support for the knee if you choose that action. So whatever feels right for you. Just let yourself be where you need to be, but we're squeezing the left knee in. Squeeze pretty vigorously here, really squeeze. Use the strength of your arms, your chest, your back, and release. And squeeze in again. And release. Think about every time you release, you're just flushing out those tissues. So we squeeze, it's a purposeful contraction and a constriction to the tissues. And then when we let go, it's like whoosh, we get this fresh blood flow that comes into the cells. Nice thing for the body. Squeeze in and release, and then just change the angle of this leg from a tightly closed angle to open it up. So reach the foot up towards the ceiling. Grab onto whatever you can hold on to, your foot, your hamstring, your pants, whatever. And then just bend the left elbow if this is available to you to head the left knee toward the floor, or use a prop for support to bring the knee onto. Just pause for a moment and feel this. Okay, this can be a really interesting release. See if you can feel the connections between your left leg, literally through the pelvic floor and into the right leg. In fact, if you just wave your right leg around, you'll probably feel some different actions happening there. So feel that. And then let's bring the right knee into the chest. Just hug it in for a moment. And then customize both feet and extend the right leg up to the ceiling. I just think about this as kind of yawning things out. So hug the leg hug the tissues to the bone. Let's really wake things up on this exploration. So squeeze everything onto the bone. I'm awake, I'm alive, full yes with the leg. And then just start extending it away from you. So curious. So don't rush this or you'll blow past all the interesting stuff. So really extend it and feel the point where things start to shift. So when my leg goes longer, I can feel it all the way up the back of my spine, through my right shoulder into my right arm. I had to reposition there a little bit. So feel in your body what's going on. Right at this point, my foot won't come to the floor, so I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to bend the knee and take another ride. So I'm stretching it up, reaching it really long. Soften your jaw. Go deeper. So you're doing it. You're there doing it. So really get in. Really do it. Like feel what's happening. So don't just be a human doing. Be a human being. Go in deeper. It takes courage and it takes mental training to really focus in on yourself, but you're worth it. You're worth it. It feels so good, so good. And if it doesn't, customize it. Make it feel good. Let it feel good. Sometimes we even have to allow ourselves to feel good. Give yourself permission. Extend the leg long. Find that hover point. And here's where we go into external. So you really feel the glutes squeeze there. And then internal rotation. Internal rotation's tricky. A lot of people will do it with just the ankle or the toes or maybe from the knee. Try to use the leg as one long, strong unit. And we're moving it from the head of the femur deep into the hip socket. So see if you can feel that. Sometimes things won't cooperate, like the foot really wants to do all the work, so just giggle about it. Just go, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Huh, wonder what's up with that. Just get curious, okay? Super kind to yourself. There's never anything wrong with you. Your body's just talking to you. There's interesting stories to tell. You've put it through some kind of an interesting life, I'm sure. Try the external out. Internal in, and then you can take that position and take it from a lower position maybe towards the floor and then just bring it up a little bit higher on different angles. So you're starting to look for vectors, different angles, different twists and torques. Different things will bring my knee up and then different positions will bring my knee down. So I'm just going to let that flow happen here and let my body adjust around it. I do often love to be by furniture because I can hold on to it and actually squeeze and pull to get different leveraging on my body. So that kind of feels nice to me. You know, if you wanted to open up this angle of the knee a little bit more, you could do that. There's like so many options here. I really encourage you to find your own options. And then eventually, we'll just bring that leg back up. Bend the knee, put the foot down on the floor. Right sacrum will be lifted here, and then we'll just shift the angle, put the right sacrum down on the floor. So sometimes you should do it with the sacrum down and feel that action. Feel this closed, more of a closed chain action here with it down on the floor. And then sometimes it's nice to let it lift and hover and just be in a different position too. So what should you do? I don't know. The answer is usually it depends. It depends. So this is where you really have to start trusting yourself. Go ahead and release that leg. Trusting yourself. Like to do your yoga practice, the only way that you can do your yoga practice, because you know the body that you live in better than anybody else, you just have to get down on the floor. And you can see I'm not even in I'm not wearing my yoga pants, but you don't have to get dressed up. You don't need to have a teacher telling you exactly what to do. It's good to go to class to learn some options. But really the advanced practice is you learning to be there for yourself, to trust yourself. Just hang out there in the moment with yourself. Be quiet. Let that chatter mind just be quiet. Like don't think about things. Just hang out with yourself and feel. And your body will communicate with you. Job's just to listen and adapt, to be kind and appreciative and gentle. And thanks for the practice today. I'll be back with you soon. Okay, I love you.